You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Sister Wives fans. Today we're going to talk about Tony Padron and recent comments he made about Meri Brown. In true Tony fashion, looks like he went a little too far in a recent video. But before we get into Mykelti cleaning up after Tony, please click that subscribe button if you're not following us. So Mykelti and Tony earn extra money by offering private videos to fans who pay a subscription fee. Mykelti usually hosts a watch party where she and Tony screen the latest Sister Wives episode. They discuss it, make comments, fill in some backstory, fun stuff like that. But right now, we're on the mid-season break of season 19, so Mykelti and her hubby are going back and they are watching episodes from really old seasons of Sister Wives, way, way back to the early days. And in addition to commenting on old episodes, she and Tony answer fan questions. In their latest video, they spilled a lot of tea, some good, some meh. We're going to share it all. So let's start off with the trivial but interesting bits of info from them. We know Mykelti and Tony moved to North Carolina because he got a great job offer he couldn't refuse. And in case you didn't know it, Mykelti's hubby is an expert chess player, and Tony now works for one of the biggest chess instruction centers in the country. When they first told Sister Wives fans about the move, Mykelti agreed that it was a good way to distance them from all the family drama, but Tony said the move was huge for his chess career. And Mykelti said Tony has some student openings. So yeah, if you are interested in learning chess or having a coach, Tony may be your guy. He coaches in the Wilmington area of North Carolina, and I believe he also coaches online. So yeah, maybe your guy to teach you how to do a checkmate. So Mykelti and Tony live in the Wilmington area, which is a few hours away from her half-sibling, Meri Brown Brush, who is in Greenville with her family of 6. And Janelle Brown has moved to Chocowinity, which is close to where Maddie lives. And Mykelti said she and Tony just visited Maddie after she and her husband, Caleb Brush, had their 4th child. It sounded like a fun visit, according to Mykelti, but also chaotic from Tony's point of view. So Mykelti posted their most recent video just a few days ago. So at this point, you'd think that they would know that Season 19 is returning from its mid-season break very soon, and that they would know the date because they're part of the show. Interestingly, neither Tony nor Mykelti knew. Fans were stunned because TLC has announced the return date. They've been running promos during a bunch of different shows that I've seen, you've probably seen. And she even called her mom, Christine Brown Woolley, to ask her if she knew the date that Sister Wives was coming back from the break. And Christine apparently didn't know it either. Now, if you are in the dark like Mykelti, Tony, and Christine, just FYI, season 19 of Sister Wives picks back up on Sunday, April 20th. So that's less than 2 weeks away. Sister Wives fans immediately started dropping messages to Mykelti telling her the date that TLC had announced, but she actually seemed doubtful and even said she needed to confirm it. So definitely Tony and Mykelti seem a little out of touch on this issue. And they also spilled some info about past housing problems of the Sister Wives. Fans didn't know that Meri and her kid Leon once lived with Christine and her kids. That's aside from when all 3 of the first set of wives were crammed into one place. And so this was between when they got their individual homes and when they were all piled up together before Robin came into the family. So Mykelti told a tale about a house that was 7 stories tall in West Jordan, Utah, which was where they moved after living in Wyoming. They bounced around a lot trying to avoid, punishment for violating those polygamy laws. And believe it or not, Meri moved into this very tall house with Christine and her kids. And that's kind of odd because Meri and Christine have always had a lot of friction between them. Cody Brown's third wife didn't like the way Meri allegedly treated her kids and wasn't shy about sharing her opinion. But for a few months, with no reality TV cameras watching, Meri was actually Christine's roommate with all the kids piled in together. So Mykelti and Tony were also asked about them seeing her dad, Cody, and stepmom, Robin Brown, and how often that happens. A fan asked if they had visited Cody and Robin lately, and Mykelti said no. And she explained that traveling is expensive and they really don't have the time to go off to see Cody and his one and only wife. But fans had previously been led to believe that Mykelti and Tony didn't even talk to Cody and Robin anymore. So maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe the time and money thing is just a cover story. That was the trivial stuff. And then they got to some jaw droppers. The topic came up of Meri Brown in the past wanting to have another baby, and Tony raised some eyebrows with his usual lack of filter. They were watching an episode from season 4 where Meri was debating using Robin as a surrogate so she and Cody could have a second biological child. They had talked about using Meri's egg fertilized by Cody's sperm in an IVF process, and then Robin carrying the child because I guess Meri cannot. And Mykelti and Tony were watching this older episode where Meri was struggling with all this, but in the end, she decided she did not want another biological kid and declined Robin's offer. Mykelti felt that Meri wasn't invested in having another child, possibly because of the disappointment that could happen if the in vitro fertilization didn't take. It's very expensive. A lot of people can't afford to do multiple rounds. But Tony used a rather strange analogy to explain Meri's dilemma. He said it's like when you have a dog that dies. You don't want to get another dog because you realize you don't want to go through the pain of the new dog eventually dying. So to save herself the pain of in vitro not taking hold, Meri opted out altogether by Tony's logic. And then Mykelti asked her husband, did he realize he just compared pregnancy to getting a dog? And yeah, Tony reiterated that is exactly what he said. So that was the end of the dog, puppy, baby debate. Mykelti piled on, saying she felt like when Meri decided against having another bio kid, that was the starting point of her anger towards Mykelti and all her siblings that were birthed by Janelle Brown. Mykelti and Christine as well. Mykelti said instead of Meri stepping up and being an other mother, an additional mom, a bonus mom for all of Cody's other biological kids, that Meri instead became angry. And some of the other kids have previously talked about wife one and her alleged anger issues when they were growing up. Christine's son, Padron Brown, said it wasn't safe to be around Meri when they were kids. That's what he said, not us. That's what he said. And Maddie blew up the internet a while back when she mentioned the monster from her childhood. And a lot of fans were asking if she was referring to Meri. So it sounds like Mykelti thinks that the IVF issue triggered something in Meri that a lot of the other kids seem to vividly remember. So the big takeaway from this latest Mykelti and Tony video is Meri and Christine cohabitating in a very tall house. A 7-story house makes me think about the Weasley house from Harry Potter, you know, the burrow that was all like funky and had all those stories. Because when do you see a 7-story house, right? And of course, Tony's bizarre comparison of childbearing to pet ownership. At least Mykelti and Tony are keeping us entertained during the Sister Wives hiatus, which ends on April 20th, so don't miss it.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.